There we go. All right. Without further ado, I got Mr. Christopher of Necro's Horns. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Look, let me just first go ahead and say that your work is just phenomenal. I've told you via direct message, but having you in front of me and it's seeing everything that you've put out so far with the multiple artists that you've worked with in the black metal community or just extreme metal in general and other festivals. Your your work is nothing short of amazing. It's just
Thanks.
it's pure art.
Thanks so much. Means a lot to hear that actually. That's what I try to achieve actually with my work is mostly create art, not about just taking a photo that people just see and just like leave it behind. So I mean I feel photography is art. So it should be elevated to art, not to degrade it to actually what have been done today. Like everyone with a phone can just shoot a photo and then just like it's just whatever, it's just something useless at the end. So I just want to focus and create something, as you mentioned it, like create art.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that you say it and people see it actually like that. So
Yeah, that everything that the artists that I follow on social media, being here in Louisiana, I'm not always able to see a live performance by, say, Shooter or Marduk or Morik or Indesma and bands of that caliber. And just seeing the way that you were able to capture them in that black metal essence, and just you have a staple. I don't know if it's a filter or just the way you capture it. I mean, obviously, there's like a certain certain technique of color and disposition. It's I recognize it straight away. It's like, oh, that's Necrohorns. Like I don't need someone to have the watermark or whatever. That's your work. It's and that's amazing. That
yeah, that's something that I always say. Like as a photographer, one of the first things that people have to try to achieve is actually what you said, is actually create a signature. And what I mean with that is not about putting a watermark on your photo. It's actually that people can recognize your photo without seeing your name. People see the style, people see the expression, and people understand right away that it's you, or can associate it or think about you right away when they see it like that. And that's something that takes a lot of time, and is many people ask me sometimes like, but how do you create that? I was like, the only way is just shooting until unconsciously you get to that point. You know, because if you aim for something, you're not gonna get it. It have to be natural. It have to be something that you get that approach, and it's like, and you just go with the flow, and that's what it comes out. In the beginning, when I started shooting, my social media, it looked like a rainbow. It was like a mix of colors, a mix of everything. And I feel like when I looked through it, like as an overview, it was not appealing to the eye. It was like overwhelming, too many things happening, too little expression. Then I was like, I started thinking like, I want to reduce this for people to focus in the content without getting overwhelmed. And then unconsciously, it just lead me towards this. That's something that I feel like every artist should do. It's like you can listen an album. I mean, you can listen whatever band. I don't know. I mean, there's well-established bands. For example, let's say Bullser. You can listen Bullser without like a new album, and you don't know probably that it's a new album out, and you will figure out that it's Bullser because you recognize the sound. I want that people to recognize that through my photos. Like, not of course, it's not a sound, but it's about like the aesthetics, the approach in the way that I shoot. So it's very important to achieve that. It takes time. It's difficult. Took me many years, and I to the point that I actually didn't really even knew I have a signature when I already have it.
right.
So it's a process. It takes a lot of time actually for to reach that.
Yeah, let's talk about that process and let's talk about how what drove you. I guess we can go far as back as as a kid. What drove you, or what was the idea of going into photography?
Oh, that. it just happened. I mean, I was always interested into photography. I Every time that I could get a hold of a camera, it was right away shooting photos. That's something that I always felt like I wanted to do, but I never had the opportunity to it. I'm come originally from Panama, and back in the days, talk about it's not like being in Europe, Japan, or United States that photography is been a career since very long time. Over there in Panama, it's like talk about being a photographer. That's not a career. That's a hobby.
Hobby, right?
So
Right.
so everyone see it like that, and probably maybe I don't know now because I don't live in Panama since over 13 years. So maybe it's getting more open-minded, but back in the days, it was like literally forget about it. So I never really even thought about photography as a career. I just thought about like for fun. Just grab a camera and take a photo. Oh, this looks cool. I wanted to do something more artistic, and that's it. But so it was never really in my mind to be a photographer. I turned to be an airline pilot. Uh, so I went for that. I mean, some of the things that I actually have as a background that I really want, I was like aiming for, it was like or be a pilot, a psychologist, or an architect. And I ended up as a pilot. Did it 4 years in an airline, also 6 months as a flight instructor. Then I actually did my airline training in Texas. And then later on, when I moved to Sweden, I started. I mean, I converted my pilot license to the European, start searching for like jobs and stuff. But then I started going to concerts. Uh, I mean, because in Panama metal scene is literally is very, very, very small, very reduced. Now there are more concerts nowadays, but back in the days, like the biggest thing that I could see, it was I got to see once Misfits and no effects. But
Wow.
extreme metal,
Yeah,
forget
yeah,
about it. That's
yeah.
like local bands mostly, or bands from Costa Rica or Colombia that travel there, but nothing really happening. And so then in Sweden, I started like getting in touch again with the artistic expression that I have since I was little. I started Necroshorns, not focusing photography. I was doing it focused mostly. For that time, I started creating like wood art, like with pyrography, that is like wood burning,
Yeah.
related to metal and painting with blood. Then with time, actually, it I figured it out. Like, I mean, yeah, I am doing something very cool, but I have to find a way how to show it, how to present it online, because it's not about just taking a photo and that's it. So I have an iPhone 4. I start shooting my photos with my iPhone. Then with time, I bought my first camera, like because I said like, okay, iPhone 4 is not really working for this. So I start little by little. I got my camera. Then I got a Sony Alpha 5000. It cost me $100 back in the days with the lens. Very cheap camera. I
Yeah.
could not even control the focus point with the camera. It was a total mess. But I started like shooting concerts as well, and actually, it was this guy, Ronnie Reaper. He plays in a band called Turbocharge. He's the original singer from Vomitory. He knows a lot about photography, videos, and stuff. And he told me, like, hey, do you know you have an eye for composition? I was like, really? So, like, yeah, you're pretty good at it. And if you invest in equipment and get more technique, I'm pretty sure you're going to make something about it. I was like, nah, no way. But, well, if he's saying it, I was gonna give it a try. So I
Right.
start focusing more, learning a little bit more. I have the misconception in my head before, like to be a photographer, you have to be like in a career, like then you have to study.
Yeah.
You have to go to a, a specific place to study photography, learn all kind of techniques, and then go for it. So I never really, when people tell me like, "Oh, you're a photographer," it's like, "No, I'm not a photographer. I only have a camera," because that's how I see it. But I don't like to put titles on myself because I feel like you earn the titles. And then everyone started calling me like, "Oh, you're the photographer. You're the photographer." I was like, I came to the point like, shit, I should probably call myself a photographer
Right.
because everyone is saying it.
Yeah, everyone's saying it,
So
and everyone's seeing your work, and we'll get to that part where you've been highly publicized, yeah, in metal magazines
Mm.
and books. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So I mean, it grew like that. I mean, I don't like to put, as I said, I didn't really like to put the title on myself. I felt like I earned the title, as I feel like I never studied. Like, for example, it's like you cannot just build a car and call yourself an engineer or something like that, you know. So I feel like that it was the same with photography. But then with time, I actually changed my mind. I was like, well, actually, you don't really have to go to an art school to be an artist, or to go to the conservatory to learn any instrument to be a guitarist. You can learn by yourself. And actually, this is the interesting part. I learned everything by myself. In the beginning, there was a lot of people that I look up of. Like, I really wanted to. I saw them like, whoa, these people are amazing shooting. I reached out because I knew some of them. Everyone literally gave me the back in the beginning, like, nah, you don't have to get into this. It's expensive. It's difficult, a difficult market. You're not gonna make money. I was like, no, it's not about money. I just want to learn. Uh, Everyone, no, they have thousand excuses and didn't even want to tell me which camera they were shooting with. I was like, okay, well, that's what it is. Someday I'm gonna learn. So I started like reading, practicing. Uh, Photography is something very abstract. If someone come and tell you like the shutter speed, the ISO, all these kind of things, you get like the aperture. If you don't really read the technicalities and the theory, you don't really understand exactly what it means. So when I start getting like, yeah, you control this with the ISO, I was like, what the hell is the ISO? I mean, in the beginning, I was just shooting auto, and then with little by little, I was like, I have to learn. I start practicing. With practice and error, I developed technique. I didn't knew any theory, but I developed technique. So then I start learning the theory, applying it to the technique that I already have. And well, here's where I am right now.
yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, maybe it's just the discipline of that airline pilot background you have, to where I could learn this. You got all this hands-on experience with
Mm.
planes and all of that. I mean, I couldn't tell you the first thing about piloting a plane, but I mean, I know that there's some, it takes a lot of significant training and learning, all parts of intricate machinery
Mm.
and whatever. So I knew, I'm saying that is just because that you've had the discipline to learn all these different techniques and learn everything that comes with the actual camera and how to point, how to just do more than just point and shoot.
Mm.
And because I mean the artwork speaks for itself.
Mm. That's the fun part. Sometimes people come and tell me about like, no, because the sensor in your camera and the sensor in this camera, and they talk about really geeky stuff. I was like, sorry, but I don't understand anything what you're saying. I mean, I still get a lot of things about the camera, definitely, because I know how to shoot. I shoot 100% manual, literally. I mean, the only thing that I have like autofocus is the lens, but that doesn't mean that I let the camera autofocus itself. I control the focus point by myself. So I shoot everything manual. I select everything. And the fun thing is like, some people calculate, they have like a mathematical equations and stuff like, and I'm like, what are you even talking about? I mean, I'm very geeky in a way, like from my pilot background. But when it comes to photography, I only see the light and I already know right away which settings I have to put in my camera.
Right.
Because people always tell me like, which settings are you gonna use or something. I was like, no, I cannot tell you until I see the light. So I see the light and I right away know what I have to set it up. So it's like all those equations that people talk about it, they're like automatically done in my head without thinking about it. I don't know the numbers, I don't know anything, but I go and I put the settings and I just stick to it. It works very well. Then you tweak a little bit, like, okay, there's when you're in a concert, light change literally by second. So
Yeah.
you need to know which setting do you need for different kind of lighting. Yeah, I mean, I go for it. Definitely. I mean, I know like F values. I know like the things with the lens and stuff. I search for specific things. But when it comes like deep in the mechanism of the camera, I don't know anything about that. People talk so much about it. I was like, with art, you don't have to geek about it. You need to understand it and feel it, and that's what I do.
Yeah, it's just like
So
music. Just like music, I mean, people could harp all they want about learning theory and all everything that goes with music theory, whatnot.
mm,
And but there's something to playing with feeling, because
yeah,
at the end of the day, you're getting your emotions out, via an instrument
exactly.
or your voice, so it
Exactly, exactly. You just go with what you feel when you get inspiration, and that's it. That's what I do literally with my camera. So, I mean, okay, I apply a lot of different things. As I said before, I wanted to study psychology before. So through my photography, there is a lot of psychology behind how I shoot, but that's the approach that I do. Not about talking about the technical part. It's talking about like how I decide to shoot and capture those moments because there's a lot of things that I apply that I have learned with time that actually I feel like is what differentiates me like from other photographers. That I always say there's two kind of photographers. The one that is like the ghetto guy with a machine gun just shooting at random, expecting to capture something. Like one shot, like just I mean one bullet is going to kill.
yeah, yeah,
And there's the sniper. Just be cold, just plan it, and just get one shot, one kill.
right.
I aim to be a sniper. I don't go to a gig and I start like shooting insane at random like that kills me when I see the guys doing that. I was like, what are you even doing? And one day one guy told me like in every concert, in every festival, I use like a memory like the SD card of 256 gigabytes per day. I was like per day. That
Wow.
I was like, are you crazy? I don't want to even see your post production. That will kill me. I mean, I can shoot maybe. I will tell you in Brutal Assault last year. And we're talking about a festival that was like 160 bands, 5 days.
Yeah.
I shoot probably like six or 700 photos per day in total. I mean, with considering all the bands that they were playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, and I feel that I shoot too much. I was like, wow, this is a lot. And when I hear like, I mean, that they use like one SD card of 256 gigabytes per day. I was like, what the hell you're doing? I mean,
Yeah, that's a lot of memory. Just
yeah, that's a lot of photos. You
man.
can, I mean, I shoot full raw. I mean, and in raw, like I'm talking about, like you can get over like 7,000 photos. Like, come on, really? I mean, it will kill me.
Yeah,
That's that's one of the secrets that I get. Like people ask me, like, how the hell you have actually the band is not sometimes even out of the stage and you already publish a photo. I was like, because I already know what I shoot.
yeah, that's there you go. That's a sniper for you.
Exactly, exactly. I just know what I shoot. I just transfer right away the one photo, and I post and I do my post production, and I post it. My post production per photo. That's what you were asking later before about like if I have something specifically or whatever. I mean, I work every photo completely like depending what it is or how I feel like it. And I always say I don't have anything against graphic designers, but I'm not a graphic designer. So
Right.
my post production per photo doesn't. If it will take me more than 5 minutes, it's not useful. It's not useful for me. I just like leave it.
That's
So
wild.
for me, usually a photo will take me more than a minute.
Oh, that's man, that's amazing. Okay, let's backtrack a little bit. I'm really curious, what was life like living in Panama from an early age?
Oh man, Panama is an interesting country. I mean, the thing is, my first memories were not from Panama. I was born there, but my first memories were from Sweden. I
Okay.
lived here until I was 6 years old, I think. Then I so my first memories were from here. Then I moved to Panama. I mean, even when I mean, we moved here when I was just like months old. So then we moved back to Panama when I was six, more or less. And I mean, Panama is an interesting country, definitely. Like any place, have their pros and cons.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, if you like the Caribbean kind of like lifestyle and stuff like that, I mean, it's a pretty good country to be in it.
Yeah.
If you're a metalhead, it's not. But I mean, yeah, it's a hot country. I mean, I like Panama very much, but I never really got, as my family is a mix from different countries. No one from my family is from Panama actually. I always felt like a foreigner, even when I was born there. Um, I mean, my mother is from Colombia, my father Italian,
Oh, okay.
and so then for me was like, yeah, I mean, I didn't look like Panamanian. I didn't speak Spanish. Like I spoke Spanish with an accent. So yeah, I mean, I was always feeling like a foreigner. Like this is not my place. I never got used to the weather. It's too hot for me. Very humid. And many people here in Sweden ask me like, why the hell you moved from a tropical paradise to this freezer? And I always tell them like, have you ever showered and sweat at the same time? And they said like, yeah, that sounds awful. So like, yeah, that's Panama.
Yeah, we're going through the same thing right now in South Louisiana.
I can
So,
imagine over there have to be pretty hot.
oh, it's hot right now, man. It really is. And like one of my good friends is actually Thomas Erickson from Modik. And
Mhm.
he he had the idea that he wanted to take holiday over here in August, and I pleaded with him. I said, I bet, like, dude,
Don't do that.
come in like December, maybe late November, or like January, February time frame, in the winter, dude. Like because it is this. I don't want to be here in August. I don't want to be here, longer than I have to experience this heat and the actual swamp ass that the sweat that just accumulates.
It's sticky.
This Yeah, it's just fucking gross. But anyway, but I actually flown through Panama. My wife and I, we actually went to the Isle of Providencia in Colombia.
Cool.
Took a vacation there. So and what's with a dark enough tan, I look the part. I look Spanish.
Mm.
And when I got through Panama Customs, I mean, the Panamanian military security was, they're holding like, their assault rifles at security, and they started speaking Spanish to me. I had no idea what they were saying, but I mean, whenever he pointed the rifle down, like go that way, like all right, I'm going that way. So,
Can be quite of intimidating.
a little bit,
Damn
but so okay, so you go back to so you got your training with the airline that was all done in Panama, correct?
Yeah, I mean, the initial training, the flight school was done in Panama, but the airline training was done in Texas.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
was that like did you have to serve any kind of military time in Panama because of being a
No, no,
pilot?
no. But actually, Panama doesn't have militaries. After the back in the 80s was this dictator called Noriega.
I remember Noriega.
In the 89 was the invasion from United States to Panama. And in that moment, when they put down the dictator, Panama was completely demilitarized. So everything was shut down. So Panama, what they have is actually police. I mean, like certain kind of like branch of police is kind of like divided, like, but no militaries at all nowadays. It's actually one of the few countries in the world that I think that doesn't have militaries. So quite of interesting thing is some of the times that as I said, as Panama don't have militaries, when it was like a difficult situation in the country that they needed like big airplanes to transport like the police to tough situations, they hired the airline. So I actually have to fly a couple times, like to bring police to conflict areas and evacuate people. So I have to do that a couple times. That there were some places that they were like out of the out of control. So like they blocked the roads and stuff, and the only place that it was still under control was the airport, but all the town was completely like chaotic. So what we did is actually like we flew over there, bringing police. Police went down, and all the people that were injured, then we took it back to the city like for treatment. So I have to do like a couple times, like they call it like the government gave us like a letter, the Civil Aviation Authority, saying like we have special permission to break all the laws, because as a civil aircraft you're not allowed to carry anyone with a gun, and we
Right.
have like 50 police officers like with shotguns and things like that, like just loaded, sitting in the spot. We have like explosives, dogs for attack and stuff like that. So we have like to, by law, in a civil carrier, you're not, it's forbidden. I mean, you can still transport like in the luggage, like for example a gun, but the gun have to be disarmed, and
Right.
ammunitions have to be in a different bag, cannot be in the same case. So, and then the pilots have to be notified there's a gun on board, and you have to get a notification about who is the owner. So you get like in the cockpit, you get like a copy of the
Manifest.
ID of the person.
Yeah.
So exactly in the manifest, you get a copy of what, like who is the owner of the gun, so you know. But still, I mean, most of the time, I mean, they don't have access to the cargo area, so on board during flight they cannot access it anyway. But still, it's like you get all information. So it was like special cases that we actually got like the permission to carry like people, like bringing people that have the guns in their hands, like loaded. So it was a crazy time. I was only 20 years old when I was
That
doing
is
that thing.
wild, man.
Like,
What year is
yeah.
this? What year is that for?
Oh man, that was maybe 2010.
Oh wow. So that's just for like not long ago. Man, you're a young guy.
Yeah.
You're a young guy. So
Well, I'm 37 now.
okay. All right.
Yeah, but that was, it sounds not that long, but when you think that 2010 was like 15 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild, man.
Yeah.
Like 2010, it just feels like yesterday for me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Sometimes I think about that as well. Like, shit, it feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I haven't been flying like in airliners in 2012. So now my life have changed so much that I feel it like a completely different lifetime.
Yeah.
Like,
I can
it
only
feels
imagine.
unreal sometimes. Like, did I did that for real? It's like, fuck. Nah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sounds weird for me.
Yeah, I know. There's like, I'm 45, so I'm not that much older than you. And I was in the military, I was in the
Cool.
Marines, I was in the Air National Guard for the state,
Nice.
and it feels so long ago, like receiving all that training and just going through uh
Mhm.
all the stuff that I did with that, chapter of my life, but it feels like yesterday. It just,
Yeah.
it just happens so fast.
Yeah, in a way it feels like yesterday, but at the same time feels like, feels weird at the same time. Like I start thinking, like if that was like an alternate reality, like if I did it for real, when I start thinking like, for example, one of the times that we were going to evacuate people, actually the first time that we were going to the place, we have to abort the landing because the control tower told us that the airport was under attack. So things like that. So I feels like, damn it, I was really into that. I'm a civilian. I don't have it. Well, now I have shotguns and stuff like in target places, but back in the days, I was like never. I don't have any kind of like military training or anything like that. So
Yeah. So
so it feels so real.
that was gonna be my next question for you was like, was it did you as a pilot and just being in the cockpit, how were you able to compartmentalize the feeling that, okay, I have a job to do. I got to fly this plane. I got, I have bodies in the cabin that I'm responsible for, but they also have guns and we're living in turbulent times. Do you have your own uh, set of security for you and your co-pilot, or what?
No, actually, the only security that we had was one of, one of the captain in charge of the police just approach the cockpit during the flight and give us a gas mask and tell us like, in case when we land, we recommended that you wear the mask right away because if we get under attack, the first thing we're gonna throw is like pepper bombs.
Yeah.
So I was like, damn it. That was the only. And the interesting thing is like, when it comes like these kind of situations, I mean, this was a very small airport. They didn't have any kind of like airplanes over there or anything. It was like in a border between Panama and Costa Rica. It's a small place called Changuinola. That's where mostly the plantations from Chiquita Banana. And the interesting thing is actually when there's a circumstances like this, when you land, the first thing that they want to capture is the airplane
Right.
with the pilot,
Right.
because then they have a lot of things to negotiate with that, you know? Then the airline get involved. I mean, the situation that it was happening there, mostly it was the reality is the Panamanian government was kind of like fucking up the indigenous people. They were taking lands from them. And they were put on some laws that they were really, really rough against them.
Mhm.
You know, everything is about money. So the indigenous people, they were completely berserk. They blocked the roads towards the town. They destroyed the police stations. They burned them down. They completely like start like destroying the city. I mean, a town. It's mostly a town. Uh, and then they have like the mayor of the town naked in chains in the middle of the town, saying if the government don't take out the laws, they were going to burn him alive. So they were very angry. But in the circumstances, I mean, I totally understand what they were suffering from. I mean, honestly, I will go berserk if someone come and start taking my things out of me, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So, but unfortunately, I feel that there are ways to actually uh, deal with it, and a lot of innocent people are suffering. I mean, you know, when you burn a hospital, you burn the police station, there's kids around. I mean, this town, so I can explain a little, like the biggest deal there was when we landed in the afternoon because all the town gathered around the airport just to see us landing and take off. So for them was something like magnificent to see an airplane
Yeah.
this size like landing there. So then of course when it comes to these kind of situations that they have total control over the town, and the only place that the little police left have gathered is in the airport just to hold the airport to be able to bring more police. They wanted the airport and they wanted the airplane, so they were waiting for it. So in a way you feel like you're the target.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, felt very, as again, surreal to think about that because I have nothing to do with anything of this, but I am there. So if something happens, definitely they will go after me because they know I know how to take off the airplane. These people, they have absolutely no idea about aviation. They don't really know anything about an airplane, but I don't know the pilot know how to do it.
Yeah.
So the thing that they want is the airplane and the pilot. That's
God,
it.
man.
So definitely. Uh, yeah, it feels odd. Like actually, the only protection that I have was a gas
Mask.
mask.
Gas mask. Yeah. Yeah.
Probably, I mean, in the cockpit we have as a safety um, in case of an emergency or something. It should be an axe somewhere, but that's it.
Yeah. Somebody might put a round in you, but you'll chop their fucking limb off something.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So
Man,
yeah, I mean,
that's some wild shit though, because like
mm,
this is the stuff out of an action movie in the 80s, man. Like
oh yeah,
you've seen like like your diehards of the movie, of the late 90s and whatnot, of like hostage situations, and you take a plane and just using the pilot as leverage and all that shit, and you
oh
actually,
man, I have seen and I have done a lot of shit in my life.
that's crazy.
Not that I've been like like I'm not a troublemaker in general, but uh, but I've been into a lot of situations in my life. I mean, the 4 years flying around Central America, they were interesting. They were rough. It was not easy to fly around. Actually, I remember many pilots actually because one of the flag airlines in Panama, one of the biggest airlines, as Panama have latest retirement than the States for pilots. If I remember, like many got retired when they were 60, but they could still fly 5 more years in Panama. So
Yeah.
they got their retirement in the States and they went to Panama to fly for a while. And then when they start flying like Central America and South America, going like to Guatemala, Honduras, Costa Rica, all these places, I remember like all these like ex-military pilots that they were. I mean, first they get retired from the military,
Yeah.
then they get retired from the commercial, and they have like already a lot of experience, and they come to fly to Central America. After 1 year they quit. They were like, I'm not gonna get killed here.
Yeah.
It's like,
Fuck this shit.
exactly, they were like, because it's hardcore. Weather over there is like unpredictable. It changed literally like in seconds. You have the most beautiful day of your life, and then you have like the worst storm ever. And when
Yeah.
you're flying, I mean, I probably I can be wrong, but most literally all United States is literally sea level.
Uh,
When it comes like, I mean, airports, like,
right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, major airports are sea
New
level.
Orleans is probably below sea level, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you're flying Costa Rica, Guatemala, all these places are not sea level. The performance of the airplane changed completely. When you're landing like Bogota, it's completely different thing. Actually, the most dangerous airport in the world was Toncontin in Honduras. I used to fly there like not daily, but I did it a couple of times.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so brutal that big airlines like American or Continental have just a specific crews that's like trained to fly to those places.
Yeah.
Only senior pilots were going there. So, and I was doing it like, let's go,
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was hardcore. So I seen a lot of shit. Yeah, crazy times,
Have
crazy
you
times.
have you I'm curious and we'll move on from your piloting days, but have you ever flown into the island of San Andre,
Oh
Colombia?
no, that's the one where it's the Princess Juliana Airport and next to the beach, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I know the place, but I never, no, I never had the opportunity
Oh
to fly
man,
there.
look, I'm gonna tell you a quick story. My wife and I, we flew from caught this little charter flight from Isla Providencia and flying back to the main island of San Andre. And like just like you said, the weather was so unpredictable. Like we left the island. It was just beautiful skies, and then what was it was a 45-minute flight turned into 27 minutes because this angel of a fucking Colombian air pilot got us through this like all this turbulent storm, and everyone on this plane was we checked out of life, bro. Like we thought we were gonna fucking die. Uh, and I mean, I remember like this the pilot told everyone to put their heads down. And I was like, oh shit, here we go. Like it's this is it. This is it for us. Put our heads down, and like I couldn't help but notice, like just kind of peep my head because like I had the aisle seat, and I did like that to check see what's going on, and there was this young couple that was sitting to my right and ahead of us, and she I mean this poor woman was just crying, dude. Like she was like saying prayers in Spanish, and I was like, oh shit, dude, this is it. I'm gonna die in paradise trying to get back home. But that young pilot, man, I don't know what they teach in South America to those pilots, but bro, like you said, there's probably some specialty training going on over there.
Yeah,
And
you get training for those kind of things. You're prepared for it.
yeah,
And you
you took
deal with it
notes.
literally like every day. When it comes to like winter time, it's like that's your daily routine. And even like that, I mean, I remember once I was getting back to Panama City, we got the airport got closed because bad weather. Uh, for the approach to the airport, we have like some navigation system that is called VOR for the landing. The VOR antenna got hit by the lightning, so we didn't. The other airport lost it, and the airport got shut down for a while. Bad weather, we have to do holding like for almost half an hour, like really far from the city
Yeah.
because it was really brutal, and it was like we were just in this really bad storm, just like pumping and stuff. And I see I'm used to it, and I actually like the turbulence in general, so that was cool. And then I see the other pilot, and I see his face like completely like not friendly at all. And I was like, "Hey, how you doing? Are you okay?" And then he look at me and tell me like, "My mother told me to be a lawyer, not a fucking pilot." So I was like, I just cracked laughing. I was like, "What's fucking funny about this?" I was like, "Nothing, nothing." He's just
Yeah,
like, "Well, this is what it is." I mean,
what it is.
uh, everyone just see like in the movies like the luxury life of the pilot, like arriving to the airport looking dope as hell,
Yeah,
like
looking all
then
sharp and shit.
uh, slightly then like 5-star hotels or whatever. But no one tell you that you're gonna sweat a lot when you're like in really bad weather or shit is happening. So so yeah, I'm familiar with what you say. I mean,
Oh man.
even pilots suffer sometimes.
So what have you all so you've always been into extreme music. What you say what was like the like the main band that like got you into extreme metal?
Okay. So probably the first band that actually really like extreme metal. I will say Marduk.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first time that I heard Marduk, I remember a I got the from a friend in Panama. Well, not even a friend. One guy that he was hanging around. He loaned me a DVD from the War Funeral Tour. And when I saw that for the first time, I was completely in shock. I was like, "Fuck! What the hell is this?" I mean, I knew already like Cradle of Field, Dimmu Borgir, but those bands are more. I mean, yeah, they were extreme for the time that I was listening to those kind of things,
Yeah.
but it was very theatrical at the same time. Those bands always been theatrical.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but Marduk is being the kind of band that has always been like straightforward and to the point, really like a really raw and extreme sound.
Mhm.
So when I got to see like the first time like the War Funeral Tour, and it was Legion, like in the vocals, I was like blown away. I was like, shit, this is another level. And then I got more into it, and then it was like, if there's one band like this, there should be more. So I started searching. Then I got like Belphegor and other kind of bands actually. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Marduk was actually the gateway for like extreme black metal
Mhm.
when I was younger.
Yeah. And about how old were you when you discovered Marduk?
Oh shit, I don't remember. I think probably 13,
Oh wow, man. Yeah.
13 or 14. Yeah,
Damn.
maybe more or less, more or less. I mean, many people here in Sweden, for example, they were like 10 years old. I mean, you see kids here like sometimes like 10 years old, and you see them already with a Slayer t-shirt
Yeah.
or stuff like that. In Panama, that's very
Oh
weird.
yeah, very
Back then,
rare.
it was very difficult, and even less. I mean, now with the internet, you have access over everything. I
Yeah.
mean, actually, fun story. I was working at this festival in Spain, Winds of Agony, and the promoter came and told me like, "Hey, you know the guys from Auranor, right?" So like, yeah, I know them. Can you do me a favor? I was like, sure. There's this kid that came to the festival with his mother. He's like 8 years old, and he wants a his festival. We gave him a poster from the festival,
Yeah.
and he wants his poster specifically signed from Auranor. I was like, that is so fucking cool.
That is
The
fucking
kid is
cool,
like
man.
8 years old.
Hell yes.
So I mean, it was like the mother doesn't even like metal. The mother was there just for the kid, and they
Yeah.
grant him access. I mean, to the festival. And I came to the band and told the guys like, "Hey, there's this kid that wants the poster signed. He's 8 years old." And I remember Ule Apollyon. He was like, "That is so fucking cool." He was also really like, so we are from different times, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, nowadays
Yeah.
everyone have access to even extreme stuff. Out and Or is not a really easy band to listen. It's not the first thing you're gonna listen when you start getting into metal. I
Especially, yeah,
mean,
yeah, especially at 8 years old.
exactly. So it was like, what the hell, really? I mean, so different times, you know. I mean, I feel like I got into metal like pretty late. I mean, but probably for that time it was normal. But nowadays you find like little kids actually already like liking bands and stuff. So
Yeah, it's the same over here. I remember being a young kid, anywhere from like 8 to 10 years old. I mean, the internet was not a thing whenever
no,
when I was that age. So we had to go and either have like older family members or that had some cool shit to listen to, and we inherited that. And speaking of Slayer shirts, my mom was like, "Fuck that! You're not gonna wear a Slayer shirt in my home." I mean, she was just so overly religious, and she's
yeah,
like,
mine as well. Mine was really Catholic. The first time that I came I actually I have a Cradle of Filth and Slayer T-shirt that I was hiding it from her, and when she figured it out about that, she almost burned my T-shirts.
"Yeah." Was it the old Jesus is a cunt with the back on it?
No, 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 not that one. But I have a Slayer T-shirt. I don't even remember what was it. It was a bootleg anyway. I mean, in Panama you could not find anything original, so it was probably not even. I don't know. I mean, it says Slayer, but probably the artwork was not even something really related to the band.
Yeah, man.
Like most of bootlegs back then.
So you did the commercial airline pilot thing for how many years
4 years.
altogether? Four
I
years?
mean, well, altogether, I mean, I started in 2006 with my studies. And then, I mean, in 2008, I was already an airline pilot. And I quit the airline in 2012.
Okay, so 2012, you're done with that. So what was
Yeah.
life like after 2012 for you?
Well, it was a big change because I moved to Sweden. I converted my pilot license to the European, so I studied here for a while, like until 2013. So, but then started process like I started going to concerts for the first time because my dream when I was a teenager was actually to at least see one band that I like. Then I was like, if I only see one band that I like, I'm done with everything. It's like it's enough. I reached at least one. So then I got to Sweden, and then yeah, I could see like there were like concerts literally like every weekend. Like sometimes it was like even 3, 4 concerts a week. So then I was like, well, I focused my priority was to study. So I was studying, learning the language, but I started going like to concerts like every now and then, and yeah, I mean life changed very much. Uh, I mean I have my family already here in Sweden, but I still as like I arrived here literally knowing no one,
Yeah.
only with a few bags. So it was a difficult time. Like when you Sweden is a really interesting country, have a really a lot of positive things, but it's not that easy to move here when you come from one thing is you come from Norway or from Finland, it's literally the same thing. But if you're coming from a tropical country, you have a lot of different differences.
Yeah.
Like you have like the cultural part, you have the weather, you have to adapt yourself to the country, you integrate yourself to society. So it was quite of a shock of a process. Actually, Stockholm, I live in Stockholm, even when it's quite of a big European city, it's very calm.
Mhm.
And Panama City is a small city, but it's very hectic. Like everything is open 24/7. And when there's noise literally all the time.
Yep.
And when I came here, Ecuador like freaked me out, and it was a punch in my head, like so much silence. So I was like, it was difficult in the beginning, like to adapt myself to it. Like you go out on the street, you don't hear the cars like beep, 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 24/7. Uh, so those kind of things really, it was kind of a shock for me.
I was to say, but quite a culture shock for you like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, even when that's the fun part. I was like, I always felt like in Panama, like, yeah, of course I'm different because I mean, even when I was born in Panama, I have Swedish nationality already. So, but I was like, I felt like, yeah, I'm different here in Panama because I'm Swedish. Then when I moved here as an adult, I was like, shit, I'm not Swedish either. So, so it felt very, very, very like like in a moment, in a way, like you don't belong anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was quite of a process to adapt myself to the country. I mean, I'm always call myself like a social introvert because I'm very social. I'm very cool to talk to people and stuff. Like I don't have any problem with it,
Same here.
socializing.
Same here.
But I'm very much in my bubble. I'm not the kind of person that will go to a bus stop and start talking with the first person that you find there. Panama is like that. You go somewhere, you start conversation randomly, or people start conversation randomly, like literally everywhere. I'm not that kind of person.
Yeah.
So I mean, someone talks to me, I'm not gonna be rude. I'm gonna answer, but or I can even establish a conversation, but I'm never gonna be the one searching for conversations outside.
Right. Right.
So it was like, I mean, in that way, I felt like you like shit. It's pretty cool here. Don't people don't come and talk to me, so that's cool. But then with time, it start like hitting you in a way, like, okay, I have already 6 months and I still don't know absolutely anyone. So it's more difficult, like to establish friendship. I
Yeah.
mean, Swedish people in general are really a little bit more conservative about friendships. So it's a process. Now it's totally cool, but I mean, it took me a time, some time, like to get into it. Aside of that, I didn't speak Swedish back then. Aside of that, my English was very bad,
Yeah.
was very, very basic. So it was very difficult for me also like to be able to feel confident to actually have a fluent conversation with someone. So I still have definitely an accent. English is not my first language, but I speak. I mean, and I make mistakes as well anyway. But I can still hold like a proper conversation. I
Oh
mean, I
yeah.
use English more day by day more than I use Spanish. Actually, I started even thinking now like something in Spanish sounds weird because I never use Spanish anymore. Now that I've been working a lot in Spain, it's like sometimes when I'm talking with people, I get stuck. I was like, shit, how do you say this? So I say the words in English, and then they tell me, I was like, fuck, sorry, it's just that I don't use the Spanish that often anymore.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not that I'm forgetting the language, but at the same time, it's like it doesn't feel as fluent like you're speaking Spanish day by day, you know.
Who were some of the first artists, you got on a first name basis with, you're talking about relations here. Because obviously there has to be some type of camaraderie, or establish some type of rapport with some fellas who play, all these big festivals. Like, I'm curious, like, how did that all come about?
Well, the first band that I actually ever worked with, for that time, Necroshorns didn't even exist as the name of Necroshorns. I just actually did it, and I sent them the photo for that time I was focusing wood art. It was Abigail from Japan.
Oh, okay.
I used to buy a lot of records and stuff, and Abigail here it was not really a well-known name, so I couldn't find anything. And I always been a lot into like bands from Japan, Thailand, stuff. So I was like, I started, I got in contact with Yasuyuki, the main guy in the band, and one day I sent him a photo. I was like, hey, look what I did, and the guy was like, this is fucking cool. I was like, you want one? I was like, if I can get it, I was like, sure. So I shipped him one to Japan. So then Necrothorns, I decided like I should show my work. So then I actually did the uh, create what is Necrothorns, and then I posted about that. Then I started getting like a little bit of exposure, and then one day I decided to do one from Archcode. I sent the photo. They love it. Then I've been in contact with Archcode since the beginning of Necrothorns. Literally, they invite me to They were touring. That was shit. That was like 11 years ago. They were touring Europe, but they were not coming to Scandinavia to Sweden, but they were playing in uh, in Denmark with Inquisition and with Unskapt, and it was like one Russian band opening. I don't remember the name. And they invited me to the concert. I was like, "Fuck, Archie is inviting me to a concert in Denmark. I'm coming."
Fucking
So I
A.
went there. So I bring the wood art. They were like super happy. Then I made contact with Inquisition, and it started going from there. So then the name started like growing and stuff. But the first photo session that I did for a band. was Valkyria here in Stockholm.
Okay.
And Simon, he liked the approach that I have with my photos. For that time, I was still focused mostly in wood art, but he asked me one day, like, "Hey, I like how you shoot in concerts. Have you ever done a photo session before?" I was like, "I don't think so." And then he said, like, "Well, will you be up for it?" Like, sure, let's do it. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, he told me like just chill. Worst thing that can happen is like didn't work. So I was a little bit nervous because I was like, I don't like to screw things. In general, I'm thinking like always if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna go full for it and achieve my goal. And my goal was like that they like my photos. And even today, I mean, we did that photo session probably 2019 or something like that, I think it was. And even today, if you go to the Valkyria Facebook page, their cover photo is actually the one that I did in the session.
Yeah.
So yeah, then from there start like the guitarist from Valkyria have another band called Siniestro, and he was like, "Hey, would you like to do a session for my band?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So then start little by little until one day Necroshorns turned completely into photography.
Yeah, that and with that company that you started, Necroshorns, it I mean, like I said at the beginning, man, it's your work is very signature, it's very unique, and there's no mistaking who shot it. Like I mean, every time you put something out, I was like, man, it's just you capture the artist's essence, and and with that psychological mentality, there's something that something you're able to pull out of the image that there's more to it than just the actual playing. Like you're able to capture, you know, not only just a theatric moment for any given artist, but just like you feel their intensity. You feel, if it's an emotional pull that they got from performing, like you feel that shit in the image. If not, I mean, maybe, these people are just got no feelings whatsoever. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, some bands are quite difficult sometimes to capture that because I aim to capture emotions. So I go for it. To complement the part about the psychology way of shooting, the thing is like I do something that is called I never really thought about it until I heard once uh I think his name is Atiba. He's a American photographer that he's a Canon ambassador and he works shooting mostly skateboarding.
Mhm.
And he says something that I was like, shit, I've been doing this without knowing about it. Pre-visualization. I visualize the photo that I want to capture in my head before I shoot it. What I do is this. When I go to a concert, I study the movement of the band. I figure out what are the key movements that they're doing because we as humans, we don't really think about that. But we have we repeat the way that we move unconsciously. And for a band, it's not different of that. So when they go up on stage, many have the tendencies to repeat the same movements. So I study the movements of them, I capture the photo in my head, and then I wait for the moment and I capture what I already seen.
Hmm.
So when I'm in a concert, when other people come and start taking a camera and start just shooting at random, I start just looking and start searching for the angle. I'm
Yeah.
moving around. I'm like, go to the right, go to the left, search the angle that I want, search the light, because I study as well how the lights are moving. I study not only the band, I study also to try to predict what is going to be the next light setting
Yeah.
because it built a pattern. The pattern usually go with the song. So I try to predict that and I usually go for it and move around. So that's the psychology part of my shootings. It's not only like just go out there and shoot a photo. I already predict what I want and I will aim for it. Yes, of course, I compromise a little bit sometimes because I'm not in control.
Mhm.
of I'm not gonna tell the band like, hey, sorry, can you stop in a moment and do it again? So I'm not in control of anything like that. So sometimes I have to compromise with some things, but at the same time I'm aiming for something, and if in the process I see something else that is worth capturing, I do it. I don't really just gonna be like, no, that is what I want. Of course not, but yeah, I plan mostly my shootings, and I mean, I shouldn't be telling those secrets and stuff because man, I see so many people, probably people will learn. But honestly, that's a quite a fun part as well. I don't care if other people learn.
Yeah.
In all my photos, I even put up like my camera equipment because I don't want to be like the guys that told me no from the beginning.
Yeah.
When people ask me, what do you shoot? I always tell them because I feel like if you go later to the pit with me and you do a better photo than I do, that will inspire me to be better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care. I mean, it's not a competition, but at the same time, it's a competition.
Yeah, that's what it's like for a lot of musicians, you know. And someone puts out a fucking banger of an album that has like, fucking 100-mile-an-hour fucking blast beats and the sickest fucking raw riffs, someone's like, "Oh shit." Well, then, turns around and now I'm just going to use, bands like then like, the next 1349 is even fucking,
Mm,
badass, which it is. I
yeah,
mean, a fucking
yeah,
new record. And I guess I say that because like that was some of the latest photos I saw from you, uh,
yeah.
from I think it might have been Winds of Agony, where they shot there.
No, they were playing Fortress in the UK.
Fortress, yes,
That was actually like what, like 2 weeks ago, I think it was.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
fucking brilliant looking pictures. If anyone hasn't seen or subscribed to Necroshorns Instagram profile, you're fucking wrong. You didn't look up that shit. It's fucking amazing. And
Thanks.
yeah, absolutely. And dude, like, and I was sad to see. I went to your profile earlier today, and I saw you had, your own space for publications. Like every one of your fucking books is sold out.
Literally, yeah. I think I have only a few left of my anniversary book. I think I have a few copies, but in general, like literally, like all my books. I mean, I don't like to produce things like in mass production. Like let's gonna do like 1,000 or something. First of all, maybe I don't know if I have the audience to sell 1,000, but still, it's like I like to do things in a limited way, so it feels special.
Yeah.
Feels like, I mean, I hate when I see like for example like big labels like repress of this album limited edition to 10,000 copies in each color. I'm like, that's not limited. 10,000 copies in each color and you have the whole rainbow. I mean, so it's like we're talking about like that's like 100,000 copies over there. So
Yeah.
it's like, uh, so I don't feel that's limited. So I like to produce everything like in limited quantities and keep producing.
Yeah.
Of course, it's more work, but I prefer it in that way. That's why I all the time like when I do collaboration with bands, like, I mean, I could definitely sell more,
Hmm.
but it's not the point. I'd rather actually keep it limited, do a collaboration of 20 copies. Some people get angry sometimes because you're like, only 20 copies, come on, there's a lot of people. I saw the photos from Frost literally like within 24 hours, the collaboration that I did with him. Uh, I think I announced that it was sold out almost like maybe 4 days ago, and I'm still getting questions of people like, "There's any copy left around there?" So it's like, but it's not the point about that. I'd rather at some point do another collaboration with him, other photo session, and then we release something else. I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen, so I don't put expectations on people and then asking, but but I mean that's what I prefer to do. So to keep it special, I mean when something is mass produced, I feel it lost a little bit of the spirit.
Yeah, I agree. Do like to get my hands on some choice box sets here and there.
Mm.
Um, but those are few and far between. It all depends on the artist, I guess. But
Mm.
man, what's next for you? What you got lined up? You know, coming up as far as shooting.
Ooh, for shooting, there's always something. My schedule is insane. It's hectic. I mean, this weekend is the first weekend that I'm gonna be at home after 5 weeks out,
Wow.
and But still, I mean, when I mean home is at least here in Stockholm. But I'm gonna shoot on this Saturday Poison Ruin, American band. Love the
Right.
guys. I mean, I don't know the guys, but love the band. It's fucking fantastic. Uh, but then, really cool thing on Tuesday, I'm shooting Soulfly.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll be very cool to see. I never seen Soulfly before, but seeing Max Cavalera on stage is something like amazing for me. But that's gonna be in Uppsala. That's like 45 minutes from where I live. And then something very exciting happening for me, probably the best festival that I ever been in the world. It's called House of the Holy. It's
Mhm.
in the mountains in Austria. So on Wednesday, I travel into Munich, and from there I take a car, and then I drive to the mountains in Austria. It's like 2.5 hours, more or less. And that festival is something unique. It's like nothing around. There's a lot of things like going on in other places, like doing festivals in nature, but this is something else. It's very different. I myself, in the beginning, quite of like criticized a little bit the festival because I thought it was a bit elitist to like if you wanted to come to the festival as an audience, you have to write a letter to be accepted
Oh,
to
wow.
buy a ticket. So I was like, come on, really? But then when I made it there, I was like, okay, now I understand why. Everyone that is there is like mentally synchronized to be in the place and enjoy the place, respect the festival. You see the people is actually connected in a way. The atmosphere is amazing. It's something very special, very unique. And I told directly the promoter actually, like, you know something? I was quite of against what you were doing before, but when I got there, I quite of understand. And it has to be a hell of a hard work to receive thousands of letters and read the letter of every person to see who is going to get accepted to come to the festival.
Yeah.
Fuck, that have to be very hardcore.
Yeah.
And he just laughed. He didn't say anything. But yeah, I mean, I'm a very straightforward person. So I told him directly, like, hey, I was really like skeptical about this, but when I experienced it myself, it was something very powerful and very unique. So now it's gonna be starting next Wednesday
Okay.
in Aptenau in Austria. And last year the lineup was just literally insane. Beherit was playing up there, Darvasa, Hex Vessel, Hell Militia. The lineup is always like top. Not only black metal bands,
Yeah.
also like you can find a little bit of neo folk, ambient, different kind of things. And last year was my first time. I was lucky that they invited me again. So I'm gonna have exhibition with my work over there and yeah, experience the mountain. And it's very beautiful when you see like the stage, like this open air, and you just look around and you see all these mountains. And then the last day of the festival, um, they make like a really huge fire. And it's very beautiful because they light the torches in front of the stage when the band is playing. Last year they did it with Hex Vessel.
Hmm.
So it was a very powerful experience. Then the people that are like lighting the fire is the promoter, members of the society that runs the festival, and band members as well. So you could see like guys from Beherit, Darvasa, different bands like preparing like with the torches. Then they go uphill, everyone do a circle, and they start lighting the fire there. That is like a huge tower, like probably like 3 meters high, and it's something very powerful. It's very unique, and at the same time, that's during summer solstice. So in Austria, they still have some sort of like celebration
Yeah.
over there. So when you look like to the other mountains in the area, you see the peak of every mountain on fire as well. So it's a very strong feeling. It's something that I mean can be compared with any other festival. So
Yeah.
if someday you have the
It,
opportunity, I totally recommend it.
and you know what? I'll probably take you up on that because I got some friends that I interviewed on this podcast in Gyad. They're from Austria, and I wonder. And I'm
Hmm.
sorry, I think they may have played it. They might have been like one of the opening days bands. I think I'm not sure.
Hmm.
David, if you're watching this, please fact check me on that. Uh, but yeah, they're a brilliant band, very like just dark funeral doom metal, man. It's fucking
Mm.
badass. And they do it in a way that I haven't heard before. So
Oh.
very unique blackened funeral doom metal. It's great.
Mm.
But
Oh.
before I let you go, I need to know if there's 6 albums that you can absolutely not live without. Need to know which ones those are.
Oh, damn it. You're killing me with that question. That's a very, very, very difficult question because, well, I like a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I have to be honest. Lately, my head is a black hole. Right now, it's like I can tell you probably, I mean, in a way, like, sounds quite of difficult to say it, but my life has been so hectic that I haven't quite of like lost in memory somehow.
Oh wow.
So it's very difficult. Sometimes I have conversations and I forget them right away. So it goes with many things because I suffer from bad insomnia as well. I'm medicated to sleep. So and but yeah, I mean, so it's difficult to tell you names of albums specifically. But one of my favorite bands is Devil Doll. I don't know if you ever heard. It's a progressive. It's actually progressive symphonic metal band.
Mhm.
Is very obscure. It's actually half Slovenian, half Italian. They started like early 90s, late 80s, and it's a very, very unique thing. There's one album called Des Irae that's the last album that the guy released that it was in 96. I can remember that one. That album is for me a total masterpiece. I don't listen to it every day because for me I have to be in a mood for it.
Right.
But that's one of my favorite definitely albums. I will say shit. Mortuary Drape, uh, All the Witches Dance, the first Mortuary Drape album definitely. I get it. I got two on them already.
Yep.
I will say the first EP from Darvasa. That's a band that I feel very well connected because I shoot them many times, are close friends, but also they have this song called A Hanging Sword that for me is like total masterpiece. I feel like very well connected with it. Maybe Cult of Fire, Life, Sex, Death album. That's an EP.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, with that I have four.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I have four. Yeah. Oh shit. Very difficult to say. Uh, uh, you got me in a really in a
Got you
really
in a
tough
tight
spot
spot, don't
because
I?
yeah, because I definitely have favorites, but it's difficult. Like as I said, like my memory is quite of like if well probably the album of Summoning, Let the Hero Sing Your Fame. Things called that. That album is also very, very, very powerful album for me. Let's say you have five there.
One left. You can do this. I have faith in you.
Don't get your hopes too high. Uh, oh fuck. I love Misfits. That's one of my favorite bands
Oh man,
ever.
yeah. Misfits is like the
But I cannot choose one album from Misfits.
hey, look, Misfits
But
on.
I will say some. I will say Misfits box set with
There you
all the
go.
albums.
There you go. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Cool, cool, cool. I managed to say something at least because as I'm telling you, I get like black holes in my head right now. It's like it's kind of complicated
You,
sometimes.
hey,
I
you're
forget a
allowed.
lot of things.
You're allowed, man. You've been through some shit. You have one. You have one extraordinary life that you live, man. And I'm so glad that you able to come on the podcast, man. I really enjoyed our chat. And
Appreciate it.
I can't wait to see the next pictures that you post up on your socials.
Mm.
And man, I look forward to meeting you in person one day.
Yeah, likewise, likewise.
Because you know, Sweden, whether it be Sweden or some festival in Norway or Austria, wherever we where it land, I'll definitely keep in touch with you. That's for sure.
I will definitely let's see what happened for next year. I mean, I was last year in the States a couple times,
Okay.
twice. I mean, I love Health Heroes.
Yeah.
That festival is well. You have, I think you have Christian before in your podcast as well,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes. I
Yeah,
interviewed Chris.
Christian
Love Christian.
is an amazing guy, and his festival that he have put up, I was mind blown last year when I was there. It was like amazing, and I always say something about that. Every festival, you will get the mood of the atmosphere of the audience depending of the approach of the promoter.
Yeah.
And Christian is a guy that is very well dedicated, and he's working very hard in bringing something very good to the States. And Hell's Heroes does, because I hear all the time people in the States like, you got all these cool festivals in Europe and stuff. I was like, shit, one of the best festivals that I've been. Yeah, there's many in Europe that are very good, but Hell's Heroes is something very special.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
very, very good.
Yeah.
I kind of understand probably, yeah, to travel from LA to Houston is the same thing for me, like to travel from Sweden to Greece or maybe farther,
Yeah.
because the States is a fucking
Oh,
huge
it's so huge,
country.
man. Yeah. And then like, we
But
have Hell's Heroes, we got Maryland Death Festival,
mm,
Milwaukee Death
yeah, you have good
Fest.
stuff there,
Yeah, yeah.
definitely. I mean, I've never been to Maryland Death Fest because at the moment right now, I only travel with festivals that I'm working with.
Right.
So for me, it's like I have too many bookings actually to get even time off for myself. I've been 3 years without vacation. So, and I don't see vacations coming soon. And but I would love someday to get to Maryland Death Fest. You have always really good lineups, but Hell Heroes have a special place in my heart. It's a very mixed festival. I'm not really too much into heavy metal, but I like heavy metal as well. When last year when I got to see Eternal Champion playing there, I was like, shit,
Oh
these
yeah.
guys.
Yeah. They're so good.
That's the old school attitude to the bone, you know.
Fucking A.
And then you could go around and see Sodom, and then yeah, Darvasa that I work with them, or Lamb of Murmur. You get really really good names playing there and very mixed, so you get a little bit of everything, and you don't feel that here in Europe. Sometimes it can feel a little bit like I listen black metal, fuck that metal. Sometimes you get that mood in some places,
Hmm.
but Hell's Heroes was like a mix of everything with everything for everyone, and people were just hanging out and enjoying the festival. So yeah, you get, so who knows? Maybe if I decide to take vacation and I don't get a booking, maybe Hell's Heroes will be. So
Let me
maybe I will get back
Hell
to the
yeah,
States.
man. Come on down.
Yeah.
Fucking Christopher Dean of Necroshorns. Check him out, book him, but let him have his vacation first.
Nah, I like to be busy, man. So don't say that.
Man, it was
I can have 10 minutes vacation.
man, this was a great chat, dude. Thanks for coming on board, bro. I really appreciate it
No,
so much.
thanks to you. Appreciate it. Thanks so much, man. Have a good
Yep.
one.
You take care, bro.
Yeah, sure.